So good afternoon, everyone. So honored to be here at TOKEN2049. So I have my colleagues with me together. Oliver, he used to be a lawyer in Austria, right?
Yes.
You want to introduce about yourself first?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Really great to have you here on our stage today. My name is Oliver. I'm KuCoin CEO for Europe, and building the compliant operations out from Austria.
Yes. So about myself, for the ease of reference, so just call me BC, ABC, BC. You see, I'm the neighbor of Bitcoin, right? Just one T from Bitcoin. So perhaps I just buy some mining machine from Bitman to cover this gap. Probably this is my first time to delivering a public event speech as KuCoin CEO. I intend this conversation to be genuine and impactful. So at least on certain level, to make you to understand, KuCoin's understanding and KuCoin's view of this industry. So over the past few years, I have had the privilege of working alongside an incredible team. Although we were facing many challenges you may or may not be familiar with, like the hacking incident in 2020, and some regulatory sanctions brought by some jurisdictions against us. But still, this team growing KuCoin into one of the leading global crypto platforms, trusted by over 40 million users from more than 200 jurisdictions worldwide. So I always asking myself many times, what made all this actually happen? Throughout this journey, I do believe that trust and reliable is a core value. Installed by our founders and upheld by every employee of this organization. And we also believe that these values should affect every platform, every builder, and every user. So there is no doubt, crypto was born from the dream of empowerment and transparency. Today, adoption is growing, but trust remains foundation we must continue to strengthen. And challenges are quite obvious. Typical example is that governance and safeguards have struggled to keep pace with rapid innovation. The pace of the technological breakthroughs from new asset classes to new financial models often outstripped the ability of platforms, users, and even the regulators to build the corresponding protections in a timely manner. It is also quite obvious that complex platforms have become, complex systems have become harder for users to navigate, like layer 2 solutions, cross-chain bridges, and DeFi protocols often require, I'm not going to say everyone must be a professional, at least you need to have certain level of technology knowledge to assess every investment you're going to make, to assess the investment risks. And additionally, we can also see that a few bad actors have case stopped across the entire industry. Security breaches, fraudulent marketing activities, unreasonable restrictions of accounts, and extra. I'm pretty sure that everyone sitting here, at least everyone, can give some bad examples, bad stories about this. So yes, we see the challenges here, but despite the challenges, the momentum of the mainstream adoption has never been stronger. Let's read some basic figures here. So by the first quarter of this year, Bitcoin ETFs have already attracted over 60 million in cumulative inflows, with BlackRock and Fidelity leading the way. Beyond trading and investment, we're saying blockchain move closer to real-world applications, particularly payment settlement expanded by Visa and PayPal. And perhaps, just telling, crypto is no longer just a financial asset. It's becoming part of the culture conversation. That's the reason why now the industry has a booming meme communities and fans. Trump token is certainly an example. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. So today, the global crypto user base have surpassed 500 million people, halfway to 1 billion milestone, and crypto is no longer operating on the margins. It's becoming part of the global financial and cultural landscape. So as the adoption accelerates, expectations grow, and so does the responsibilities to build deeper trust. So we can see that. Certain measures we can take. First, security remains an ongoing priority for all of us, every industry player, particularly digital asset exchanges. So the industry recorded 1.7 billion in hack-related losses in 2023, 2.2 billion in 2024, and already 1.6 million in just the first quarter of 2025. While platforms have made significant progress, I think every platform. Yeah. So these numbers still remind us protecting users is not a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing journey that demands constant vigilance. KuCoin have experienced a hacking incident and suffered significant loss in 2020. That was a very painful lesson, which in fact makes KuCoin became strong ever before. It has since that particular time, we cut all our courses for operation and marketing and shifted most of the platform resources to our back-end system construction. So we rebuilt our wallet system, we restructured our security structure, we established a real-time data system, we launched the risk control and internal control system, compliance system, finance system, and even reconciliation system, extra. Tell you a simple, more specific number, is that now we have 80% to 90% of our employees, they are engineers. They're soft code engineers, full stack engineers, data engineers, security engineers. So please, dear friend, treat our BD colleagues nicely. They're the real treasure of this platform. So not an obligation, but yeah, a simple joke. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that this platform has been constantly making investment on backend system construction for more than 5 years. Although we did lose certain market share, but safer user experience always be our top priority. Again, let me reiterate, KuCoin's firm position is that whether the user can make profits is an investment decision made by each respective user. But to make sure every penny our user put in KuCoin exchange is in a safe and secure manner is the platform's undeniable obligation. So, as second, I would like to talk about the global regulation. So, different regions are taking kind of different approaches, creating both opportunities and challenges. You know, we welcome this progress, and we recognize that working with regulators and proactively strengthening governance is essential to building a more mature and trusted ecosystem. So I do believe that many of our friends sitting here already know certain basic facts that KuCoin just reached the settlement with the Department of Justice. of the United States at the very beginning of this year. And from the first day, from KuCoin actually establishment, KuCoin do not provide service to any single mainland Chinese users. And KuCoin is on its way to apply MiCA licenses in the EU, and KuCoin is the first global platform to get India license. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that we do not have major disputes. We do not have substantial disputes with those major jurisdictions around the world. And we are willing to communicate and share our experience with the regulators, given the fact that we do believe now the global exchange is at the crossroad, either transformed into a fully compliant site or just turning gambling site, which will not be trusted by anyone. Alongside with our infrastructure, which has built up for many years, we are willing to share regulators our industry insights. KuCoin will never avoid its liabilities as a builder and participant of the crypto industry. So I would like to talk about the third measures to increase the trust, which is the third-party auditing. Give the confidence to the public. Actually, starting from 2024, KuCoin have undergone rigorous third-party independent audits as those listed companies. We treat ourselves as a traditional financial institution. Not much complex reasons to provide it here, so we simply believe that good practice must be followed. So as simple as that. So in short, what I'm trying to say here is that sustaining growth requires more than so-called innovation and illusionary promises. It requires resilience, transparency, and a deep commitment to trust. Stay true to the original aspiration, always. So even as the challenges remains, there are reasons for optimism. Across the industry, we're seeing encouraging progress. So exchanges are embracing strong compliance standards. Platforms are investing more heavily in security and transparency. And more importantly, companies are increasingly working together. These efforts remind us trust isn't built overnight, but it grows when we act with transparency, with speed, and with a shared sense of responsibility. If there is one thing we have learned from our journey, it is that trust is not given. It must be earned, demonstrated, and sustained day after day. So, as builders, we have a shared responsibility to move the industry forward, not just through innovation, but through actions and principles. This means we need greater transparencies wherever possible, not to accept or tolerate fraudulent or malicious activities. We need stronger compliance and responsible risk management. It inevitably requires us to put more investment in back-end constructions. We also need better user protection by design to emphasize and weight the quality of the product rather than simply just doing marketing. And long-term thinking. We need to think about building for decades, not just for the next market cycle. So I do believe, I'm probably sure that, in fact, everyone believes that the platforms that succeed will be the ones that put these values at the heart of everything they're going to do. So at KuCoin, we know that trust isn't that something you can declare. It's something you have to build, invest in, and earn like more time, even like for 1 year, 5 years, or even decades. So just like what we have been contributed in the past years, exactly. So today, we're proud to announce the launch of our ambitious trust project, which is a long-term commitment to making trust the foundation of everything we're going to do. As a part of this effort, KuCoin is investing $2 billion to strengthen trust across the platform and our ecosystem. I know that across the industry, many people saying KuCoin is a back-end driven platform. And front desk work is very challenging in KuCoin. That is half-truth, not exactly. You can see that. Every 10 professionals here to support one BD girl. What a nice, wonderful experience here, right? So, but however, what I'm trying to say is that just now the statement accurately reflects KuCoin's view on infrastructure development. It requires tremendous perseverance and a sustainable kind of long-term investment. It is not a sudden decision. When we overemphasize commercial objectives while neglecting infrastructure, our business becoming like a tree without roots or a river without a source. 0 is 0. Multiply it by 2, and it's still 0. Even multiply it by 10, it remains to be 0. Building a business on a foundation of 0 is simply unreliable. Our focus is clear: building a safer, more transparent, and more resilient platform for our users, our partners, and our global communities to make KuCoin become your most reliable partner. So trust is not just a foundation. It's the future of crypto, guys. At KuCoin, we are committed to building a platform where security, transparency, compliance, and user employment are not trade-off. They go hand in hand. And we know this future isn't something like any one company can build alone. Together with our users, our partners, our colleagues, and our broader communities, we are shaping a future that truly deserves a win. The future definitely belongs to a platform that earns trust day by day through actions, not words. Let's build the future together. So, after my introduction, I'm probably will invite Mr. Oliver, who is our KCEU, to basically introduce some significant steps we have in accomplishment with regards to our makeup application and establishment of the EU website.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to share some experience with
Sure.
us?
Thank you for that. So maybe for those of you that are not already familiar with the new rules and regulations in Europe, there's this new law called MiCA, Markets in Crypto Asset Regulation, which is valid for all over Europe. And it's for sure very compliance-heavy and regulatory-heavy rules. However, we at KuCoin, we believe that with complying these rules, this is also kind of winning aspect,
Sorry to disturb. Actually, I have a question. Do you think there will be any global platform simply to, let's say, not apply that particular license?
Yes.
And what will happen to them?
I don't know.
Are they going to take a risk in the market?
Maybe. So I literally know there are some players that will not even try to get the MiCA license, and they just stay offshore. However, maybe they did not thought through it to the end, because Europe is one of the most important markets in the world still, also for KuCoin for sure, and you will not be able to succeed on this market anymore if you're not licensed in Europe. This is going much further than crypto. This is going to fiat, on-ramp, off-ramp, the security of the assets, which is very important on KuCoin as well. So I believe that maybe within a transition period of 2 or 3 years, everyone that wants to deal with crypto in Europe will be on a compliant platform.
Yes, and in fact, we also see that the EU regulators actually adopted a very strict approach, particularly some of our friend exchanges, our learner friend, right? The Web3 wallet is also under their strict scrutiny.
Yes.
So what will be happen on the next level? If a global exchanges, they basically saying that I just purposely refuse to comply with the rules.
So my best guess is, first of all, also MiCA is not the final line. The regulatory bodies in Europe, the ESMA level, they are still already working on so-called MiCA 2, so they want also regulate more the DeFi space at the end of the day, which is also then coming to all the Web3 wallets and DEXs and stuff like that. However, I believe at the end of the day, the offshore exchanges that not have any license in Europe will have a very hard play with the users giving even back their assets. They will not be able to off-ramp their assets to a regulated exchange to Europe, and they will not be able to cash out anymore their assets into fiat in Europe. So I believe after transition period of 2 or 3 years, maybe everyone will be in a compliant site.
So which means we're going to have the legitimate expectation on certain ground that the regulators will definitely take some strict kinds of measures to counter those exchanges who not actually comply with the rules.
Yes, definitely. And they already also ramp up their own teams, to execute on their scrutiny at the end of the day. So it's better to be on the compliance side. And this is what I wanted to say with the winning aspiration. People, especially in Europe, also love to trade on compliant sites at the end of the day. They just want to also have the security and the convenience of a compliant crypto platform.
Yes, and we do see there are many kind of global exchanges. Now they are trying to apply the EU license. And what is their kind of a strategy in terms of like a local environment? Are they willing to just contribute to the economy, or they just like a kind of arm's length of the global sites?
Yeah. So there are for sure different approaches, but I have seen a lot of our dear competitors that try more the global approach at the end of the day. And I'm very happy to be with KuCoin here on that side, because we really try to localize everything. We're going to build up a great team in Vienna, in Europe. We have the local people there. We have the local experts also, because it's quite hard for somebody who is not trained in all these rules and regulations to deal with them. And also when it comes to marketing, to branding and all that stuff, I believe that especially Europe is a very difficult market with all these different cultures and languages and stuff like that, and you really need to focus and respect these cultures and languages also when it comes to having a compliant platform.
Yeah, in fact, the EU regulators' approach is quite conservative compared with Asian countries.
Definitely.
So particularly their attitudes with regards to the Web3, all the innovations, and even AI tradings. Yeah. So do you have any kind of expectations that they're going to be more open in the next level when they adopted the new law?
I guess, first of all, what they always do is they put something into the market and then they assess. They see how it's working, if there are any hurdles, restrictions, or even any loopholes that someone found out at the end of the day to overcome some rules and regulations, so they will close the door again. At the end, still, I believe that they don't want to hinder the market. They don't want to hinder the innovation at all. However, they want to protect the users. They want to protect the customers. This is all coming from investment law, like this MiFID license, which we already had for investment firm licensed entities or for banks. Always is this the focus of the regulator to safeguard the users. However, as we at KuCoin have the customer always in our mind and the safeguarding of our customers and the compliance with all these rules, I guess we are very good off.
Very interesting. You used to serve in Bitpanda?
I used to work for Austrian fintech unicorn.
Exactly. So I want to know, how do you see the competition between the EU domestic exchanges and all the global players once they go into the market?
I mean, for sure, having been their general counsel and doing all these licenses, they have a competitive advantage in knowing all these rules and regulations, in knowing all that regulatory bodies. However, we will be able to speed up our own team and adapt to these rules and regulations as well. However, having said that, they are still very much focused on spot trading for sure, and as we, for example, have a much broader products and services aspect with futures and options and all that stuff, it's not a real competition, I would say. We are serving the same market. However, also when it comes to product and services, it's a different view. Everybody is invited to find out themselves, please sign up with KuCoin and try it out. But it's a different experience also from a user perspective when it comes to trading.
Interesting. For your personal kind of experience, like they actually prefer the local one or the global one?
It doesn't matter too much.
Your neighbors?
Please?
Your neighbors?
Yes.
Your friends?
Yes. No. It's a trust topic at the end of the day.
This must be a wrong answer. You should tell me that they are definitely a big fans of KuCoin.
Yeah. My neighbors, they are, but this is what I wanted to say. It's a trust topic. Because they trust me, they believe also into the platform for sure.
Trust is important.
Yes, it's all about trust. It's like also with banks. Imagine you guys giving your cash, your money with a bank. You will also try to put it on a bank that you trust at the end of the day. And it's the same for crypto as of now, and especially also for the future.
Yeah, I can see that. In fact, if you compare EU kind of clients and Asian clients, is that EU clients in terms to be more loyal to certain platform.
Definitely.
Right? It's quite.
It's not only about the platform. It's even, for example, for the banking. The first bank account you get as a junior, you will maybe, if not something happens, never change your whole life. And this is the same when it comes to crypto platforms. So if you are happy with your products and services, with your security, with everything easy, user experience is very important in Europe as well. But if you're happy, you will not change too much maybe. Although I have to admit, it's quite common in Europe also to have more than one exchange running with your assets.
Great. So, we are, just now I haven't said, we are actually a back-end driven platform. Do you have any plan to do some positive marketing or operations in the EU?
For sure.
As
soon as we have the license, we will go big in marketing and branding. However, I guess we have a very strong arguments and USPs when it comes to products and services, but also with our Q card and other, with our KCS for sure, which is a very, very good USP compared to other competitors. So we have very good grounds to get a lot of European users as soon as we are allowed to do so after getting the license.
Okay, great. So, are you confident we're going to do #1 in EU market?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, okay, yes, the next door.
I know, but
and later, Say is going to come in this afternoon.
You're going to speak tomorrow there. All right, guys. No, it's a very changing times with all these rules and regulatory coming. All of you know, also US is changing their mind now. Canada, maybe, if you have seen already with the new prime minister, will change their mind around crypto. So there's going on a lot also in the world. It's always positive in my point of view. And I'm in this market since 10 years already, having been the first lawyer in Austria, for example, dealing with the topic. And I always said, this is coming to stay. Crypto is coming to stay. And the technology part of it, what you're talking about, the backhand stuff, and the technology part of it will make it survive and being the future of finance for sure all over the world.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for everyone.